Hello out there in TV land.
Do y'all remember that time A Different World taught us a lesson about domestic violence? Let's get into it. So the episode starts off with Terrence announcing that I'm Down is in the house, as if we know who that is. Soon we find out that I'm Down is a super popular aspiring rapper on the Hillman campus. His real name is Dion, but his rap name is I'm Down, so I'ma call him I'm Down Dion. Anyways, everybody's all on I'm Down Dion's body, especially Gina, who we find out is his girlfriend when she goes over to Winley and Lena and she tells them how proud of her man she is. She says that she's never seen him so excited. And Lena says, girl, he gets excited when he sees a miniskirt. And this is when Gina tells her, girl, you're just jealous because my man is popular and yours is, oops, you don't have one. Then I'm Down Dion gives us a taste of how hot his bars are. Here's a snippet of some of the lyrics. Girlies are all freaks, and that's all it is to it. One came over and said, can you undo it? So we slobbered. I squeezed. She whined it wasn't enough. She wanted the real thing and she wanted it rough. And I just know this is where Tupac got the motivation to rap. Then I'm Down Dion tells the crowd of people who are hanging on to his every word like he's Lil Baby and he just dropped freestyle that that's all he's going to give them, that they can get the rest at his concert. Child, we see that I'm Down Dion is so popular on the Hillman campus that some random girl comes up to him and she tells him that if he dedicates his next rhyme to her, that she will put him on her best friend list. Now it's 1992. I was born in 1999, so I'm not sure what that means. I mean, I have an idea, but it sounds like she's trying to throw her cookie at him. Then we get a sign that I'm Down Dion just might not be the great guy that Gina is going around bragging about, because when that random girl walks off, he watches her every move and then he screams damn at the top of his lungs, and Terrence, his sidekick and Shadow, does the same thing.
I'm sorry, what was you saying, Troop? I was saying, damn!
Then fan ass Ron shows up and he pulls Gina to the side to talk about working for I'm Down Dion, because at this point in the show, Ron is some type of party concert promoter. I hate what they did with his character towards the end, but that's neither here nor there. I'm Down Dion peeps this interaction, then he goes over to where Gina and Ron are. When he gets there, I'm Down Dion's body language is giving very much what the hell is going on over here. And Gina quickly tells him that Ron is in her face asking about a job. Then I'm Down Dion tells Ron to let him see some of his hype in action. Fine ass Ron tells everybody in the room to watch him at work, then makes a big ass fool of himself.
It's gonna be the hip hop hysteria.
I'm Down Dion obviously doesn't like the show that he put on and he tells Ron to keep working on it. But a little time goes on and we see that I'm Down Dion hired Ron to promote his concert anyway. I'm Down Dion asks Ron if he thinks the concert is going to sell out, and Ron tells him, like my daddy always says, Washington's face might be on the dollar, but it's got my name on it. This is when I'm Down Dion decides to trauma dump on Ron a little. He says to him, your pops sound real chill. My dad says rap is just for punks who are too lazy to get a real job. Ron tells I'm Down Dion not to sweat it because his father will eventually get over it, but I'm Down Dion says nah, not my dad. And nobody asked I'm Down Dion for this peek into his life, but you can tell that his upbringing might not have been that positive. Then we cut over to Gina showing off these ugly ass shoes that she says I'm Down Dion picked out. This is when Winley notices a bruise on her leg and she asks Gina about it, but Gina quickly dismisses it and says she hit her leg on a coffee table. Then Freddie comes in and tells everybody that she witnessed a crime last night. She says that she saw a woman being beaten. Freddie tells them that she was on a roof doing moon meditation. If you know Freddie, you have no questions. You know that's just how she is. Anywho, she says that she heard a noise, and when she looked, she saw a man grab a woman by her hair and pull her down to the ground. Lena asks her if she saw who it was. Freddie says no because it was too dark, but she yelled and the man ran off. And then she says, but the sick thing is the woman limped off behind him. Look at Gina's face. Even though we can all see that Gina looks visibly shook, she snaps out of it and cracks a joke at Freddie. She says, girl, all that tofu stuff you be eating is giving you nightmares, causing everybody else to laugh. But Freddie isn't letting it go. She says that it could have been somebody they know, and she demands that Winley call a emergency dorm meeting. At this point in the show, Winley is no longer a student at Hillman. She's the dorm director. I love how they did that. Winley says no because if something like that was happening in her dormitory, she would know about it. Then Kim brings brings up to Wintley that time her job didn't believe her sexual harassment claims. This causes Wintley to say, okay, darn meeting at 8. Then we cut over to Down Dion. He's on the campus radio and he's telling all the students that there's still some tickets left to his concert for the last minute losers, while Terrence is in there getting down.
Well, as they say, better late than no jam at all. You know what I'm saying.
Then Gina shows up and Down Dion quickly dismisses Terrence. When they're alone, Down Dion goes over to Gina and he's all in her face telling her how he's gonna cook for her tonight, her favorite steak, mashed potatoes, corn, and he's like, I know how you like that corn. But Gina really isn't reacting to Down Dion, and you could tell that there's something bothering her. This agitates the hell out of Down Dion. He's like, hey, what's this? A brother can't get his girl to smile? What's going on? If you haven't already put 2 and 2 together, Down Dion and Gina is who Freddie saw last night, and Gina lets him know that. Down Dion is stressed and he asks Gina who did Freddie tell, and she says everybody, but she didn't see our faces though. Then Gina turns to Down Dion and she says, what is it about me that makes you so angry? Down Dion basically hits her with a it's not you, it's me. He says that he's just sweating the concert because his whole future is riding on it. Then he sprinkles a little trauma dumping in there and he says, what if my dad is right? What if I am a loser? Gina quickly rushes over and says, no, you're not a loser. But Down Dion continues on. He tells Gina that before he came to Hillman for this semester, his father decked him in the face for not quitting rap. He says that he just wants to prove his dad wrong, but he feels like he has no control because the talent scouts might not even like him. Being the loving girlfriend that Gina is, she reassures Down Dion that he's amazing and talented, and she tells him that everything is going to be okay. Then Down Dion says, Gina, I promise, I'm never gonna touch you again unless it's like this. Then he starts kissing on her. But I guess Down Dion got split personalities because then he says, just tell Ron not to be hanging on you. And Gina says, Ron? That's my friend. Then Down Dion says, well, your friend shouldn't be whispering in my girl's ear. Why do you think I hired him anyway? It's to keep my girl close and my enemies even closer. Gina says, it doesn't seem like you want me that close. I mean, the only time you're affectionate to me is when we're alone. Then Down Dion says, what is this? What am I supposed to do? Put on a show for you and your whole friends? Well, he says skis, but hoe just rolls off the tongue. Gina says, hold up, my friends are not whores. Down Dion says, oh, so you're the only one. Gina knows Down Dion better than I do, so she knows that this conversation is heading nowhere good. She tells him I have homework to do and she tries to leave. Down Dion tells Gina not to walk away from him as he snatches her up. Then he immediately goes back on his promise not to put his hands on her again. Then we cut over to that dorm meeting about domestic violence, and the person who really needs it isn't there.
Excuse me, it's your life I'm talking about, all right? Pay attention.
When the meeting is over, Gina tries to sneak in, but Lena quickly spots her in that black eye she now has. Lena asks her what happened, and Gina tells her that she got into a fight from a girl in another dorm. Instantly, Lena is on go. She like, where she at? Where she at? But Gina tells her that she's gone. Lena isn't buying Gina's excuse, and she says to her, you got into a fight and you didn't want to tell me? She tells Gina that they are friends, and if they are as tight as she thinks they are, then she would tell her the real deal. And Gina says, well, maybe we're not that tight. Then Gina tries to walk off, but Lena stops her by saying, well, do you think that Down Dion would tell me what's going on? Because at this point, she has put 2 and 2 together. Lena says to Gina, it was you that Freddie saw that night. Gina quickly rushes over to Lena and tells her that she's crazy, that it's not her business, and she better not go around starting rumors. Then Lena decides to ask Gina where did she get that bruise on her leg from again, and Gina says, I told you I hit my desk. And Lena says, no, you said it was the coffee table. This is when Gina has no choice but to come out with the truth. She tells Lena, look, it was an accident, okay? He's just nervous about the concert. Lena says, and that gives him reason to hit you. Gina tells Lena that she doesn't expect her to understand, just as her friend to keep it quiet. Lena tells Gina, girl, you're in serious trouble. Gina says, it's my trouble, not yours, not anybody else's. You got it, okay? And Lena says, yeah, I got it. Now it's the next day, I'm assuming. And Lena, now knowing about what's going on between Gina and Down Dion, is causing public static in their relationship that Kim is a witness to. Kim asks Lena what's going on, and Lena says, I promised that I wouldn't say nothing, but Gina is in some serious trouble. Then, not knowing what else to do, she tells Kim about what's going on between Gina and Down Dion.
Gina would scratch his eyes out. Well, she didn't. I'm down. You got it.
During the midst of this, my man Dwayne and fine ass Ron walk in, and Kim ends up telling them about it too because she says that some things shouldn't be kept a secret. The love of my life, Dwayne, asks Lena how does she know that it's true? Did she hear it from Gina herself? And she says, yeah. Speak of the devil and he will arrive. I'm down. Dion appears outside and Ron goes out to confront him. I'm down. Dion basically says that Kim and Lena are lying on him because they want to get with him. Sir, you're on the same campus as Professor Wayne. Please. Ron doesn't believe that shit. He gets so mad at I'm down Dion that he quits and he tries to put the pause on him. But my baby Dwayne, the peacemaker, quickly rushes over and stops it. Then Dwayne tells I'm down Dion that if he has anger issues, that there are places he can go and that he will even attend some with him. I'm down Dion tells him to get out of his face with that Oprah Winfrey mess. Then he calls Ron and Dwayne soft and walks off. Now we're at the campus radio station again where Freddie has to turn things over to I'm down Dion. I'm down Dion putting his hands on Gina is something that is circling around the campus now and everybody knows about it at this point. Freddie tells him that he's not going to get away with it. Then she turns to Terrence, who has been glazing I'm down Dion, as the young kids would say, and she tells him that he should be more particular about the company he keeps. When they are alone, Terrence tells I'm down Dion, everybody is tripping off those rumors. They aren't true, are they? I'm down Dion is obviously somebody that Terrence looks up to and he wants to give him the benefit of the doubt. Not really answering his question, I'm down Dion asks Terrence, has he ever hit a woman before? And Terrence says, well, no. Then I'm down Dion tells Terrence the story about how when he was 14, he saw a man slapping a woman down in the street. He says that he went over and tried to help her, but the woman ended up calling the cops on him instead. He says that he learned two things from that moment. Number one, that every brother can lose it every now and again. He says that even his mother used to push his father to the limit. And he says the second thing he learned is that whatever happens between a man and his woman stays between that man and his woman. A little time passes and now with everybody knowing the trouble that Gina is in, everybody wants to try to talk some sense into her. Starting with Wintley, she pulls Gina into her room where Gina immediately starts defending I'm down Dion. She says that he's the most sweetest and romantic guy that she's ever gone out with. Then Gina starts blaming herself. She says, look, you know how I am. I'm so self-centered. I'm always running off at the mouth and you know how I flirt. Wintley tells Gina that there's no excuse for what I'm down Dion did to her and she tells her that she's much smarter than this. Gina says, but I love him, and she says that she doesn't want to break up with him. She just wants him to stop putting his hands on her. Wintley tells her that she's making a big mistake if she thinks that she can change I'm down Dion. But Gina says, I can try. I mean, isn't love all about sacrifices? Then she says that maybe she is being stupid, but she doesn't even care anymore. Wintley tells her, believe me, I understand about sacrifices, but I would rather sacrifice my relationship than my body or my spirit. Gina says to Wintley, that's easy for you to say, you've always got somebody. And Wintley says that's right, her name is Whitley. But Wintley's words don't get through to Gina because then she rushes out of Wintley's room and says that I better not miss his call.
I better not miss his call.
Mr. Gaines is the next person to try to talk some sense into Gina. He tells her that he knows that it's not his place, but it's old folks' nature to butt in. He tells her about a cousin that he grew up with by the name of Alda Mae. He says that Alda Mae was always saying that she doesn't believe that her husband loves her unless he hits her once a week. Then he says, well, one day her husband loved her to death and they had to bury her last year. Then he gives Gina a do with that what you will face and walks off as I'm down Dion is coming in. He goes over to Gina and asks her, can they talk? But obviously Lena doesn't want Gina to go off alone with I'm down Dion anymore, but Gina tells her it's okay. Terrence sees I'm down Dion and Gina leaving together, then he runs off to do something. When I'm down Dion gets Gina outside, he starts running his same old tired game on her. He tells her that he had no right to get jealous over Ron and that he's sorry. But Gina tells I'm down Dion that if his apology is going to be followed by another fist, then he can keep it. This causes I'm down Dion to scream, it's not like that. And then he says, Gina, I love you more than I love myself. But Gina tells him like Tina told Ike, What's love gotta do with it? I'm Down Dion isn't used to Gina standing up for herself, so this has him frustrated as hell. He's like, where are you getting all of this from? Your friends? They've obviously been butting in because all of a sudden people are refunding their tickets. Everywhere I go, a sister is talking about me behind my back. Then he says, Gina, are you trying to squash me? Gina responds by staying calm, and she tells I'm Down Dion, look, I'm going to go get counseling because I need help and so do you. He gets all in her face and says who? Freddie? Gina says no, the mirror. Then she takes off her shades and shows I'm Down Dion what he has done to her. Then I'm Down Dion grabs her by the arm and says that they just need to be alone. Thankfully, this is when the cops show up. Turns out Terrence called them because he says he decided that if someone is putting their hands on a woman, then it is his business. He tells I'm Down Dion, not only do you rap messed up lyrics, but you live by them. Then he hits us with some lethal bars.
But like a sucker, you walk around, and like a sucker, you going down.
But I'm Down Dion isn't giving up that easy. He says that they can't arrest him for having an argument. Then the cops ask Gina if she wants to file a complaint. I'm Down Dion says no one here has a complaint, but Gina says I do. Then they drag that menace to society off, as they should. When it's all said and done, Lena goes over to Gina and she asks her if she's okay, and Gina says yes. Then the episode ends with Gina taking off those shoes that I'm Down Dion got her, saying that she's too cute for those ugly shoes, and I know that's right. I really don't have any thoughts about that episode. I feel like it speaks for itself, but I remember when I binged A Different World for the first time, it was such a fun time. I think it's an amazing show. I love A Different World. I do. And I do feel like it could be remade today. I feel like they can open Hillman back up and put some kids on the campus. And if they do that, I just want to say that I'm not an actor, but I can learn. If y'all decide to bring A Different World back and y'all give Dwayne Wayne the son, I'll be his Whitley. I know. We look nothing alike. Let's be revolutionary. Let's change the world. I will be his Whitley. That's all I'm saying. That's all I gotta say. And yeah.